It's time for Top That Trade. Our players this week are Phil Flynn, a Fox Business Network contributor, and Alan Luckman, the chief market strategist for St. Paul Research. Here's round number one, guys. Meme Mania. Here we go again. GameStop, AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, and BlackBerry are on a wild ride. What's your favorite meme momentum mover?
Well, I love stocks that move, and these definitely do. But, you know, what the theme here is these are stocks that have been heavily shorted, and they had a lot of non-believers. So when they go, you got to watch out in the upside. So if you're playing the downside, use puts. But I think the way to play these is there's some ETFs that track these groups of stocks. Now, you're not going to hit the home run grand slam, but at least you'll be there if any one of these has a big move. Something like Bed Bath & Beyond, you know, that was long gone, but look at that. It had its biggest move the other day. And these stocks are not over.
You know what? I'll tell you, any stock that you can get popcorn with and a free movie, come on, AMC, right? The CEO says, hey, investors, you made me a millionaire. I work for you. I love you guys. You know, they created their own website. They get free popcorn on their investor page. It doesn't get any better than that. But you know what? It is interesting, though, because what these Reddit raiders are doing, they might actually be doing a service to capitalism. You know, they're probably saving companies that might have gone bankrupt that really only needed an inflection of cash to get back on their feet. I mean, take a look at AMC, for example. Now, admittedly, the valuation's crazy right now, but at the same time, they probably would have survived if it wasn't for COVID, right? But because of COVID, they could have gone bankrupt, right? So maybe these investors are giving some of these companies a second chance. The problem I have with that is they may be trying to save companies that probably are better off dying, right? You know, but it is very interesting because sometimes in Wall Street, they just look at the numbers. Sometimes these traders are looking with their heart, and sometimes the heart wins out over the numbers.
Round number two, CRB climb concerns. You guys are old enough to put the 25% run in the CRB commodity index since the beginning of 2021 into perspective. So what does the 25-year chart of commodity prices tell you about what's next to climb?
It tells me something that I saw coming a year ago or 2 years ago, is that we were getting into a new commodity super cycle. And I think we get through these commodity cycles where we take commodities for granted. You know, we have bumper crops of grains every year. We can never use them all. You know, we've got so much copper. We have so much silver. We have so much gold. We're never going to use all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, something funny happens. Low prices cure low prices. You have an abundance of supply. All of a sudden, demand starts going through the roof. And all of a sudden, the demand starts overtaking the supply side. And that's what we're seeing in all these commodities. So across the board, whether it's lumber, whether it's crude oil, whether it's soybeans, you're seeing that underinvestment play out. And that's a good thing, because that usually means that those low commodity prices created economic growth. And that's what we're seeing in these prices right now.
And we're seeing innovation. So people are finding new ways to use commodities. Oatly. We didn't know about Oatly before, making milk out of oats. What do we use oats for? Feed my horse? No. But what this has shown me is that I'm a chart guy, that we've seen the CRB rally. It's still around the 200 level. We were at 400 back in 2008, 2009. So there's still a lot of potential upside. I like natural gas as a sector that hasn't taken off as much, but we still have a lot of optimism. And as I've always said, it all comes back to commodities. Commodities drive everything. And yes, we've had a bump, but a bump off the bottom. So we still have a lot more upside, in my opinion.
I think you're right on natural gas. And I think you might want to throw rough rice into that as well, because I think rice is one of the grains that hasn't taken off.
Rice is nice. Round number three, stunted growth stocks. 40% of NASDAQ 100 stocks are negative for 2021. Pick a beaten down tech stock for a bullish play today.
That's amazing. I'm not good with math, but that's almost half of the NASDAQ 100 is negative for the year. So what that tells me is we could see a whole new return like we've seen in the meme stocks, see some money flows into these stocks that offer some better risk reward. My best play, I always like Apple, number one, but my best play is Intel. Intel's got a PE of 10, and I'm not a fundamental guy. It's been trading between 40 and 70 for 5 years. Right now, it's exactly the halfway $55 midpoint. So this is a stock that's still down 40%. I'm still down 10%, sorry, in the last year versus the NDX up 40%. So Intel is my intelligent play.
Yeah, very intelligent, and those are pretty safe plays as well because those are the biggest names here. I'm going to take one off Electronic Arts because this is one I think the meme stock guys can get behind. It's a gaming stock. A lot of people understand it. And so I think that's one that could take off. The other one is Adobe. Adobe's been kind of fluttering around for years, for a long period of time. But I think that stock is getting ready to take off. So take a look at those two. Just remember with the Reddit Raiders, they're going to be looking for the cheapest one on the street. The one you don't think is going to move is probably going to be the one that gets the biggest bounce.
Or the whole group, the whole NDX, that whole group is primed, in my opinion.
Here's your bonus round question for today. The Disney California theme park is debuting a massive sandwich at the upcoming Avengers campus. What is the price of that super sandwich?
Woo! I heard something about this. It's like $1,000, $1,000 sandwich. Which, for Alan, when he makes a sandwich, it's about $1,000, but it's because he puts it together, looks like a Bumstead special. I'm thinking I'm going to go with $1,000.
First of all, nobody knows who Bumstead is. Number two,
really?
1,000, I say 100. I think it's a $100 sandwich.
Alan, you are correct. It's $100. You win. Business First AM continues right after this. For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.